Sup everyone, I'm Alex. Now I want to ask you a question. Have you ever felt that something was off? That feeling of a piece not fitting in quite perfectly as it should? Well, let me tell you mine. Friendship Games is the third movie in the Equestria Girls franchise, and it came out nearly 6 years ago. Ever since we've gotten another movie, a mini-series and a few specials. However, this installment in particular has always stood out to me as an interesting one. Throughout the years I couldn't pin down my problem with this movie. It wasn't the plot or characters that bothered me, but rather what it as a whole stands for. And that's when out of the blue, I stumbled upon something. The deleted scenes. And they changed everything. One thing all scenes have in common is Sunset Shimmer and the fate of her character. They focus on a very interesting aspect of her. Something personal. Her life. Throughout the deleted scenes she is conflicted with wanting to leave the human world and return to Equestria, evaluating everything she has done in the process. It isn't centered around magic, but rather on her as a character. It's an entirely new plot point that could have enhanced her arc. They add a layer to her frustration throughout the story, giving her a more believable justification to be upset for not understanding the magic. Try watching Friendship Games with this information in mind, and you will probably see a more compelling Sunset that can surpass the one in Rainbow Rocks. In fact, there are vague references to this plot point, like when she underestimates the games at first glance, or her breakdown in the hallway. These moments may work just fine, but in reality they could have been leftovers from the deleted scenes. The other major change was not having human Twilight join CHS and the main cast, but rather have her stay at Crystal Prep. This in terms makes it hard to think of how future installments could have been possible without her, because it's difficult to make NLP without Twilight. Yet with all of this in mind, we still have one question. Why were these scenes removed? Now these deleted scenes aren't extended moments or jokes that were cut out in order to fit in the runtime. No, these scenes were cut away because they told a different story. And in light of this footage and the character arc of Sunset up to this installment, I believe the scenes were deleted because they could have potentially marked the end of Equestria Girls. One thing that stands out to me is the nature of this installment. Because when looking at the whole picture, Friendship Games really is a turning point for the franchise. Up to this movie the story has been contained in the same places, occasionally branching out, telling a pretty continuous narrative. However, from Legend of Everfree onwards, the story has undeniably expanded exponentially. The dynamics and foundations also have changed, in favor of random magic events all over the place and superhero themed stories. It's no wonder why the deleted scenes were discarded, because they mark a final note. That's why human Twilight is around. That's why Sunset never wanted to leave. That's why the scenes were deleted. Now of course I'm not saying that what came after Friendship Games ruined the franchise. My only complaint is that this new direction contradicts the original one in a very crucial point. Equestria Girls started as an overarching narrative. Each installment concludes or leads to another one in a cohesive way. The movies set a precedent as how the story must be, something the mini-series can't avoid, yet they chose to leave aside the foundation they are built on. This in terms leads to an inconsistency as to what type of story is being told. Because believe it or not, there is build up in the movies. There is a rising action that's heading towards a climax. However, this build up becomes stale in the mini-series. Maybe in some specials it can occasionally rise a bit. But at the end of the day, they are contained stories that don't contribute overall. The build up is lost. Looking at all of this, I can now finally understand my issue with Friendship Games. The glimpses of greatness that were cut away. The moments that told me this should top Rainbow Rocks. The feeling of a true conclusion to a story. The signs of what could have been. Equestria Girls at its best.
Take my hand, Twilight. Let me show you there's another way. Just like someone once did for me.
But anyways, that's all I got to say today. Feel free to let me know what you think about all of this convoluted theory. So until next time, Have a great day.